Redditors who are friends with famous people, what are the benefits or disadvantages you encounter due to your friend's fame? Two of my friends were pretty tight with Dave Chappelle for a while. He'd text them to see if they'd want to hang out at some of the less crowded bars in the city. He's married and has children, so I wouldn't see him very often, and it took a couple times to not be weird around him. People actually started treating him like he's a person until he went back on tour. I was able to watch Chappelle's show with him doing live commentary. That was pretty incredible. My uncle is friends with Dave Chappelle. He told me that sometimes when he's hanging out with him, he'd say, "Are you Dave Chappelle today or just another black guy?" Because sometimes Dave would pretend to be a random black guy when he didn't want to interact with fans. I thought that was funny, I guess. Are you from Ohio? I was staying in Dayton for a couple weeks around October or so. Anyways, I ran into him at a bar and went up and talked to him. I realized immediately I shouldn't have. Haha. An old childhood friend of mine became a screenwriter. He mainly co-writes and stars in indie films, relatively small budgets by Hollywood standards, but he and a colleague have been able to cast a few A-listers and have netted several awards. As far as the advantages, I've been offered small roles in their films, they invite me to parties and I occasionally get to meet some stars, writers, composers, etc. The disadvantage, if anything, is that he tends to be busy and it's difficult to hang out with him these days unless there's an event of some kind. But we are adults and this tends to happen. Regardless, I'm very happy for him, and whenever we do cross paths we pick up right where we left off. I'm pretty good friends with a professional football player. We were really good friends when we were younger. I live a few hours from the city he plays in, so when I visit we just hang out at his place. It's hard to go out in public there, but when he visits me a few hours away in a small town, we can go to a bar and it's not too crazy. He's pretty much rich, but has never gave me any money, though he always buys the beer and dinner and pays for anything my family does with him. I don't really talk to him during the season other than a text here and there. My mom's cousin is Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Growing up we were going to all of his shows and always had all access passes to do whatever we wanted. We could eat anything from backstage, grab anything from the gift shops etc. He would take us on stage before the shows and show us around. Through him I met Pamela Anderson, Kid Rock and Eminem. I have a lot of limited edition stuff signed from Uncle Steve Tyler, but other than that it hasn't changed my life all that much. My mom would never take money from him, even though he would always try. Well, it's not a friend of mine, but the father of my best friend since childhood. He's one of Norway's most famous comedians. Pros, free tickets to everything which they would bring me and my friends. He would occasionally drop some funny jokes. Cons, really annoying walking around with him in public and him getting recognized by fans. And two little kids doesn't exactly enjoy waiting all the time when we are going for ice cream or some shit. Was seriously involved. Edit. Now I'm questioning how seriously involved I really was. Thanks Reddit. With the lead singer of a famous band. Honestly, it was like any other relationship. We had cute dates. I offered to split the bill, and he let me. Sometimes we bickered like a normal couple. He farted on me in his sleep, etc. We never really partied with the band or anything with the exception of 2 times. Most times he was tired from touring and just wanted to have dinner and watch TV. Benefits: getting to check out awesome hotels and restaurants in my city that I normally would never have gone to. Disadvantages: it sucks when you really like someone and after a while realize you're just a stop on their world tour. I was stuck at my job and he would send me pictures of whatever city he was in that day. After a few years of touring, the band took a break to work on a new album and such, and he had no reason to come to my city anymore. Edit. Just got a text from my sister saying you are her musket. So this is awkward. I'd name the band, but I'm still in the playing it cool so not to seem sad phase, and this would definitely get back to him somehow via social media. Buddy of mine's father was a huge star in the 80s. He's a main character in one of the most famous 80s teen movie you could imagine. And this kid, holy shit, he is like identical looking to his dad. I really didn't see it as a big deal when I was a kid. Looking at it now, I mean goddamn. He sees his dad on the tube by accident all the time. One thing that stood out to me though, years later, was a comment he made when we first started hanging out. We did theater together, and my dad, a local cop, was also a carpenter and would volunteer to build these badass sets and design all sorts of neat stage props and pieces. Like really cool intricate things. My buddy had always admired my father. He turns to me and says, "Your dad builds things and fights crime. He's pretty much a superhero. Your dad rules." My dad passed away from brain cancer pretty recently, and the whole statement meant very little in comparison to what it means now. This kid's dad is a celebrity, and here he was, very often bragging about my father. Kinda bizarre, but I wish my dad heard me brag about him more. I work in the film industry and have made some famous friends over the years. In this industry, you become especially tight when you're working on a movie on location together for a few months, staying in the same hotels, working out together, partying together, etc. Just like being on a sports team or something. You can often be really tight for a while, but after the shoot ends everyone goes their separate ways to an extent. Sometimes you keep in touch or make a lasting friendship, but rarely. It's the same with other crew members. The benefits have been some cool parties, easier time meeting women. One time a hotel manager gave me free bottle service for a night hoping I'd invite a couple actors, which I did not. But I met a few girls myself. BC girls love free bottle service. Something rich guys in New York understand. I just order drinks like a normal person. Valley service if they don't want to be seen, and for it to be a thing. One of my friends who I stayed close with has a poker game once a month at his kicker's house. I've met a lot of other cool people through the game. The negatives are that people fans are often crazy awkward, so the celebs aren't able to act like a normal human being for very long. Most times we go out, the actors leave early because more and more people realize who they are and bug them for pictures or to talk to them. More and more women show up for the guys, dressed to the nines, even though the guys are married. So the men eventually want to leave. On the whole, people are cool, but we have had some fun nights completely ruined too. I went bowling with about 12 actors one time, and we ended up leaving after the first game BC of all the odd people, and that sucked. We've run into a paparazzi problem once, and it was a major problem. The guy was married, and the pictures made it look like he was with another woman, and it was in magazines, but totally not true. One thing that's interesting is a lot of times they're really happy to have a normal friend, somebody that will treat them exactly like everyone else. That's why celebrities often date other celebrities. Nobody likes to be put on a pedestal or treated differently. Most celebrities move to New York or LA from a different city, don't know many people, and just want to have some normal friends who don't want something out of the friendship. My buddy Dan befriended a famous actor we know play ball with. Dan realized this guy moved to Hollywood when he was 17, is now a multimillionaire celebrity, and doesn't have a single normal guy friend who doesn't work with / for him or something. So Dan just decided to befriend him. Now they are thick as thieves. Edit. It's been really cool talking with you guys, swapping stories, and reading the comments. Surprisingly, I received a couple dozen PMs looking for information and advice on how to break into the film industry. Is there a subreddit for that? Or somewhere we could all discuss the matter? I wrote a long response and copy and pasted it to them, but it's good info to have if anybody else needs it in the future. Pretty depressing. Most don't seem to understand what comes with fame. They just want to be treated like royalty, but sometimes royalty just wants to be treated normal. Looking at you, Princess Jasmine. I'm friends with a Hollywood celebrity. He comes out to Australia all the time, and we hang out when he does. Benefits will be all the cool things I get to go to and see. For instance, getting backstage, and I get to meet other celebrities. Another funny benefit is the famous by association assumption. We had drinks after a performance at the Opera House, and there were 2 international celebrities, 1 national celebrity and myself. A girl asked for photos and autographs, and she kept on giving me a weird look before asking for a photo with me and asked for my autograph. I work in it. Disadvantages would be for us to have an actual catch-up, uninterrupted. We would have to chill in the hotel room or my house. Out in public everyone comes up and says something and wants to say hi. Also, I'm always the guy taking the photo. At the aforementioned concert at intermission there was a line down to our seats that people lined up in, and I just took photos for the full intermission. Edit. Adding hints. Originally from UK, he still has a house there but mostly resides in LA. Still has the UK accent. Worked in TV and movies, mostly comedy genre. Edit 2. More hints. His best friend is a female Australian actress. Not many people know he is also a singer. Edit 3. Another clue, it isn't Ulori. You have been visited by the happy cat within the next 24 hours. You will experience happiness in exchange for a like on this video. If you are new to the channel you can subscribe. I publish new video every day. Until then check another video. Or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.